Hello friends! So as you've seen in that little montage that I did organizing my books again, I wanted to share with you my unread books that I have in my library. And when I saw them all together, I thought this is the time to read some of them. I put them on hold because there are many classics, and considering that at the moment I don't really feel like reading them, and I'm just interested a lot more in the United States and the American literature in general, they're still in my library, and that I will go quickly through them because they are a lot. Let's move on because we have a lot to talk about. To show you 4 Italian vintage covers. They are gorgeous, one at a time. Yeah, you know it, even though you're not Italian. This is Gone with the Wind, the first volume, the second volume, the third and first volume. They are so gorgeous. I love them. They are, I think, from the 60s from the 60s, I think. I loved these covers and I bought them in a flea market here in Italy. I'm not so much a fan of Gone with the Wind from what I know the book talks about, but I have to say that it is very American, true American story. So lately I'm very interested, as I said before, in the American literature. So I think this Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell is a safe bet. I think I can read it this year, fingers crossed. For that very reason, I think many of these books you'll see in this video I am reluctant to read, but I am making this video also to make myself accountable, and you are going to help me with this. I also wanted to quick mention The Great Gatsby because this was a present from my boyfriend. Since I love this cover, one of the first covers, I think, or the first one in English of The Great Gatsby by my teenage crush, Mr. Scotty Fitzgerald. Am I banal? Maybe. I don't care because I love The Great Gatsby. It's one of my favorite books, and Fitzgerald is one of my favorite writer, and I love him. I'm so deeply connected with the story and with him as a writer. I am in possession of some other edition of The Great Gatsby, including one in Italian, of course, and I really wanted this one that it's rare and very expensive for a book, but my boyfriend in the meantime gave me this one that has in the cover the old cover, so I think it's a good start. Alrighty, then I have these 2 gorgeous covers, Virginia Woolf, Orlando and Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I bought them in London last year. I didn't read them yet, and I was missing these two classics. There's no need to go in the details of the plot because I think you already know it, and they are super famous, of course, and I wanted to read them in English, so what better occasion to buy them when I was in London, one of my favorite city, in one of my favorite neighborhoods, Chelsea. It is gorgeous there. I bought them in a precious library in London that I suggest you to visit when you have the chance, and that is John Sando Library in Chelsea. I highly suggest going there. It's a very special place for me, and I want to read at least one of them this year. Next one is my next reading, I think, because given my interest in America at the moment, I think it is a good match, and it is also one of my last purchases. I bought it in a museum in Rome 2 or 3 weeks ago. It is the English edition, and oops, something came out of it. Postcard I bought also in a museum. I'm talking about the Shards. This is the English cover and edition, and from my understanding, it's about a group of kids who are in preschool, and they have a background of opulence and transgressions, and suddenly a murder happens and they try to discover the mystery behind it. So I think it is pretty interesting, and it is always America when I think about Bret Easton Ellis. Next, it's another Italian author. I want to show you first the cover. It is by Italo Svevo, a great Italian writer. He was born in Trieste. Oh my god, northern Italian city where I lived for almost 3 years to study there, and takes place in this city. So I'm pretty interested just because I want to see his vision of that city. I don't think this is published in English. Svevo is an author of the late 19th and early 20th century. I also bought this in a flea market in Rome, and it is a love story, but also conflict of a man against the society in which he lives. The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. I don't know what to say about this book. I think this book is all about love affinities, and I feel the sweetness and poetry coming from this book, and I can't wait to read it. I also bought this book in a flea market in Rome, and there's a sweet but also sad note in Italian. I don't want to show it. It's from the summer of 2004. I was in the store and I was imagining that this guy gifted his girlfriend this book, and I was imagining that now they are not together because this book was in the store with this beautiful note, and I almost cried, and I thought, okay, I have to keep this book with me and nurture their love if there was love. I bought it just for the note, let's be honest. Then I have this one. I bought it also in a flea market, and I don't think you can find it in English, but I wanted to show the cover because I find it so simple, minimal, but cute. That's all I have to say. Then I have this one, the Sympathizer. This was a gift, and this is the Italian cover by Viet Tan Nguyen. I don't know if I pronounce it right. This is a detective a story during the Vietnam War. He is a Vietnamese writer. It's not my cup of tea, this genre, but I will give it a try one day. But moving on. Oh my god, I had to move a little bit because my feet hurt. So moving on, there's this old Italian cover of The Flame of Life by D'Annunzio, another Italian writer of the last century. It is, I will show you the cover. If you want to get a little bit funky, you have to read this. I don't know what it's about because this is my unread book in my libraries, but I know the writer well. We in Italy study him a lot, and I already read some other books by him. It is published in English if you want to check it out, and he was such a character in the Italian literature and society and political scene of the last century, and go read about him because he's such a result, a child of his time. He was a really kinky boy. You like him a lot or you hate him. He is that kind of writer and that kind of man also. This book is a fiction, but not so much a fiction, because it is his vision on art and beauty. All his work and all his life was a pursuit of beauty and art, basically. So go check it out because he is pretty fascinating. And now we have those three boys right here from German literature. For sure one of these must be read this year and it gotta go. We have Goethe and the Sorrows of Young Werther, Hermann Hesse, Siddhartha, and then we have A Place in the Country by Sebald. I don't know how to pronounce them, but I think they are pretty tough to read, but they are not so long. So I think I want to give it a try to one of them. Basically, the first one is about the extreme pain of a young man for a destroyed love and tragic life. The second one is a more mystical and philosophical point of view and experience of life, and the third one is the writer who goes in the places where his favorite authors lived or walked. Moving on, we have a non-fiction book which is by Hoffman, who was a Swiss, I think, chemist, best known for being the first to synthesize and take LSD, and this is basically him telling this story. I love this Italian cover so much. It's playful, it's colorful. I love that. I read a few pages of that book, but then I stopped. I don't know why, and for sure this year I will read it. I'm into drugs in the sense that I like reading about them, not taking them. I'm joking. So moving on from one weirdo to another weirdo, Jose Saramago, we transfer in Portugal. This was a gift bought in Portugal, in Lisbon. This is the English edition because I don't know Portuguese. This is a more dystopic one. The population is affected by a contagious blindness and all the consequences and basically the anarchy that's followed this epidemic. Weird, but I want to check it out. And now I want to talk about my beloved big always speak Russian, boys. Here they are. So backstory, I studied Russian at university and I read a lot of Russian literature, but I missed some of the most important works that some of my favorite writers did. Dr. Zhivago by Boris Pasternak, The Demons by Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, Childhood, Boyhood, and Youth by The Lion, Tolstoy, and Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. So they are big. I know by heart what Dr. Zhivago talks about, but I didn't read it. I know all of these Russian books I showed you because I studied them in my classes at university, but I didn't read them. I'm not gonna go into the details of them because they are extremely famous. I will for sure talk about them because I love Russian literature. I want to move to America. Hollywood, Shadowland, biography of Francis Former by William Arnold. This is such an amazing cover. I already talked about this in a previous video and it is a gift from my boyfriend. It is the biography of this great and beautiful actress, and I heard her stories and I was pretty fascinated and also scared in a way, but I love sometimes some torpid stuff. Next we have my sweet Erny. Something in his writing I was pretty repulsed by it. I don't know why. When I read Movable Feast, I fell in love with him. That book is pretty much a gossipy conversation between him and my Scotty Fitzgerald. I'm joking, it's not all about that. During a time they were living in Paris, maybe I wasn't ready enough to understand him, and now I think I am, but I want to give a try to another memoir before going into his novels. I also bought this book in a flea market in Rome. Then we have Asylum by Patrick McGrath. This is always the Italian cover. I must read more English books. I was used to read a lot more in English, but these books are books that I own from a long time because they are books situated in my hometown. This one is pretty interesting. I have this tendency to not do anything that everybody is doing, not from a snobbish standpoint, but because I don't want to be part of a conversation, of a bigger conversation. I want to create my own thoughts around things that are pretty popular and without all the people that are talking about at the same time of the same thing. I don't know if you can understand me, but this one seemed to me pretty interesting right now, so even this one can be next read. I don't know, but this book describes a really toxic and tragic love, for what I understand, between two characters and all the psychiatric insanity that is involved, since it does happen in a criminal asylum. Okay, we go in France with Dumas, The Lady of the Camellias, Italian edition, and Jean-Paul Sartre, The Nausea, I think it is called also in English. So this one, it is pretty attractive to me. So the first one, I don't really know the story. Nausea instead is a story about a man who is pretty bored and depressed by his existence, and he starts writing a diary of his moods. What a break. back at it again with the hat because I'm late and I have to go. But I wanted to show you one last thing. This is a stamp from the library. I picked this book and lots of the books that I showed you today, and it is in Italian. The bookstore was called Libri Ribelli in Italian. That is rebel books in Italian. It works because it means also beautiful books. It says this book can't be bought and can't be sold. It's so cute. I love it. And this bookshop was managed by volunteers, and it was in Trieste, where I lived when I studied in university. And you can bring home maximum 3 books for free. They were all vintage books, used books. I also donated some of my books before leaving the city. In my defense, I will say that these books I had for years, as I said before, because I lived in Rome and then in Trieste. And now that I am here for some time, I will definitely check them out and give them a chance, to some of them at least. So this was one of the main reasons I put them on hold. I also have some books back behind me that I didn't show you because I'm thinking about another video. Maybe those are books that me and my boyfriend found in his garage, but I think I will do another video just for those books because we are planning on cleaning the garage again, and he is sure that there are some other books. So making this video made me remember some books that I didn't remember I had, and also made me want to read some of them that I completely forgot about. And also, I think for some of them, I am more ready now. It happens. Sometimes you buy a book that you think you are in the mood to read, and then you don't. So you put them on hold, but you keep them, and eventually you will find the right time to read. This is a metaphor of life itself. I believe that. So now I gotta go. It was fun. I have to clean the mess I made later. Find some old or new books that you forgot about and give them a chance, because they might change your life. Bye guys. Hearts with flames.